Good morning, students. Yesterday we discussed with the primary function as well as the secondary function with regard to which one? The commercial bank. So, what are the primary function like accepting the deposits, lending the money, and also creating the credit, creation of the credit. While secondary function, it may be agency services and utility services. So the agency services in the sense sale, purchase and sale of the securities. Then what else is there? The payment and collection as an agent like that. Then acting as an executor or an administrator or a trustee or as an what is that? Uh, Executor or administrator or a trustee or acting as a governing body like that or a correspondence or a representative like that, several functions as an agency service. Like the same, there is utility services also. So what are the utility services? Today we will discuss it. So I'm going to share the screen with you. So there is what? The general utility services like safe custody of valuables. അതായത് സ്വർണം അതുപോലെ വില്ല് ഒരു ഡെത്ത് പേഴ്സൺ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡിസീസ്ഡ് പേഴ്സന്റെ വിൽ അതുപോലെ deeds of any property like that all should be kept in safe custody or as valuables. Then another one is the letter of credit. The letter of credit in the sense means what? It's a sort of guarantee to the exporter that his draft will be honored by a specified bank upon a certain amount as per the specified term. So that is the case, the letter of credit. Then comes, what is that? The traveler's check, the remittance of funds, the merchant banking, dealings in foreign exchange, business, as well as the lease financing. We see that factoring. From today, we will see the factoring. What is a factoring? It is a facility provided to finance on the trade debt of corporate. Companyയുടെ trade debt അതിനുള്ള finance ആണ്. That is the factoring. It is the facility that is to be provided. It is the facility that is to be provided to the finance on the trade debt of the corporate, means the company. It is an arrangement between the factor agent and the business concern, selling the goods or services to the trade creditors or the trade customers, whereby the factor purchases the book debts either with or without the recourse to the client, and in relation thereto controls the credit extended to the customers and administers the sales budget. So that is factoring. അതായത് arrangement between the factor agent and the business, acting as a middleman, ഒരു ഇടനിലക്കാരനായിട്ട് it is acting. So it is an arrangement between the factor agent and the business concern, selling the goods or services to the trade customers, whereby the factor purchases the book debts. അതായത് the debts, എത്ര കടങ്ങളുണ്ട്, എത്ര കടങ്ങൾ കിട്ടാനുണ്ട്, അത് the factor, the agent purchases that one with or without the recourse to the client, and in relation thereto controls the credit that is extended to the customers and administers the sales budget. So that is the factor. So it is a facility, once again, it is a facility provided to the finance on the trade debt of the customers or the corporate. കമ്പനിയുടെ ട്രേഡ് ഡെറ്റിന് ഒരു ഫിനാൻസ് കൊടുക്കുന്നു. That is the facility that is to be provided to finance on the trade debt of the corporate. Then it is an arrangement between the factor agent and the business concern. ഏതൊരു ബിസിനസ് ശൃംഖലയും ഒരു ഫാക്ടർ ഏജന്റും തമ്മിലുള്ള ഒരു അറേഞ്ച്മെന്റ് ആണ് in between these two, acting as what? An agent. So business concern selling the goods or services to the trade customers, whereby the factor purchases the book debts either with or without the recourse to the client, and in relation there to controls the credit extended to the customers and administers the sales budget. Then ninth point is underwriting of the security. What is an underwriting? In the advanced classes, you can study what is an underwriting or what is meant by underwriting or underwriters commission like that. So underwriting. Commercial banks underwrite a portion or whole of the public issue of shares, bonds, and debentures of the joint stock companies. Such underwriting provides an indirect form of insurance to the companies on the event of public subscription falling short of expectation. Moreover, the bank acts as a banker to the public issue also. So that is the case with regard to underwriting of the security. So what is an underwriting? The commercial bank underwrite a portion or whole of the public issue. So instead of the other people, the commercial bank need to take it. അതാണ് underwrite എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. It is a portion or whole of the public issue of shares, means public subscription. Instead of the public is not subscribing, this company or the bank need to subscribe the shares or debentures or the bonds like that. That is the case with regard to this one, underwriting of security. Such an underwriting that provides an indirect form of insurance to the company. It is the indirect form of insurance to the company on the event of such public subscription falling short of expectation also. അതായത് കുറവാണ് പബ്ലിക് സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യുന്നതെങ്കിൽ they are acting, this commercial bank is acting as an agent on behalf of the public to subscribe such shares of that particular joint stock company with regard to the shares or debentures or bonds. അതാണ് underwriting of the securities. So once again, they are underwriting a portion or whole of the public issue of the shares or bonds or debentures. Such an underwriting provides an indirect form of insurance to the companies, on the event of such public subscription that falls on short of the expectation. അതായത് പബ്ലിക് സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല എങ്കിൽ on behalf of the public, this bank is doing the duty to subscribe as much as of shares or debentures or bond that is to be subscribed for subscription. അതാണ് എന്തെന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. Therefore, this bank acts as a banker to the public issue also. So that is the case with regard to underwriting of the securities. So in continuation with that, tax consultancy, another major function or the subsidiary, not major, subsidiary function, that is, what are the things? The secondary agency services and utility services. So some utility or the service they are providing. So that is the tax consultancy, acting as a consultant to the tax. So the bank income tax department offers a complete tax service that consists of an advice on income tax and other personal taxes, the preparing customers' annual statement, claiming the allowances, file appeals, etc. So that is the tax consultancy. So acting as a consultancy services for the taxpayers. Then gift checks, another important function, gift checks. Banks in India sell the gift checks against the payment in the cash or the debit to the customer's account. As the name indicates, these are intended to be given as the gifts on occasions such as wedding, birthday, etc. അതായത് ഗിഫ്റ്റ് കൊടുക്കുന്നു കസ്റ്റമേഴ്സിന്. അതിന് അങ്ങനെ ഗിഫ്റ്റിന് വേണ്ടി അതായിട്ടുള്ള ചെക്സ്, ബിക്കോസ് in order to attract the as much as customer, അതാണ് gift checks to be introduced. Then teller system. Under this system, the teller is authorized to receive cash and make payments up to a limited amount without reference to the ledger balances or the specimen signature. അതായത് ഒരു ടെല്ലർ സിസ്റ്റം, അതായത് എന്താ, ഒരു ആളെ വെച്ച് ഒരു ടെല്ലർ സിസ്റ്റം ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട് the commercial banks. That is the authorized to receive the cash, deposit order, make payment also, so that it is very easy to get the customer the required money, as well as no need to wait for this thing. So no need to wait for in queue. Then next is credit cards. Credit cards are issued to good customers having current or savings account free of charge. It enables a customer to purchase the goods or services from retail and service establishment up to a certain limit without making immediate payment also. The bank assumes the risk and responsibility of collecting the due from the customers. So that is the case, credit cards. So issued to good customers. അതായത് പ്രോപ്പർ ആയിട്ട് ഡെപ്പോസിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക, മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ദ ബാലൻസ്, അവരുടെ റൂൾസ് ആൻഡ് റെഗുലേഷൻസ് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുന്ന ബാങ്ക് കസ്റ്റമേഴ്സുമായിട്ട് they are maintaining what good customer relation and also providing credit cards, so that it enables a customer to purchase the goods or services from the retail and service establishment up to a certain limit without making immediate payment. The bank assumes the risk and responsibility of collecting the due from the customers also, and also consultancy services. They are acting as a consultant to something. So State Bank of India and Indian Bank have set up consultancy cell to provide consultancy services to small scale industry. ചെറുകിട വ്യവസായങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒരു കൺസൾട്ടൻസി, ഒരു ഹെൽപ്പിംഗ് ഹാൻഡ് ആയിട്ട് they are acting. The consultancy service of covers technical, financial, and managerial and economic aspects also. This service is offered not only at the project stage but also at every stage of implementation of the project. ഓരോ ഭാഗത്തും, അതായത് ആ ഒരു പ്രോജക്റ്റ് ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന്റെ ആ ഓരോ ഘട്ടത്തിലും they need to have technical, financial, managerial, and economic aspects, so that acting as a consultant for such thing. That is the consultancy services. Next is debit card facility to be provided. So a debit card facility for the purchase and payments by the card holder in the same way as a credit card does. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു ഡെബിറ്റ് കാർഡ് ക്രെഡിറ്റ് കാർഡ് കൊടുക്കുന്ന പോലെ that also to be provided by the commercial bank. The card holder presents the card to the merchant establishment after a purchase and signs on the payment slip also. The merchant verifies the signature electronically by inserting the card into an electronic data capture machine that links up with the cardholder's bank through a payment gateway like Visa or MasterCard. The bank then debits the amount from the cardholder's account and verifies the transaction. അത്രയും എമൗണ്ട് ആരാണോ കസ്റ്റമർ അവരുടെ ബാങ്ക് അക്കൗണ്ടിൽ നിന്ന് കട്ടായിട്ട് പോകുന്നു. അത് ക്രെഡിറ്റ് കാർഡിന്റെ അതേ രീതിയിൽ തന്നെ ഡെബിറ്റ് കാർഡ് ഓൾസോ ടു ബി പ്രൊവൈഡഡ് ബൈ ദി this one commercial bank. While the credit card extends credit to the card holder, a debit card debits the money from his account during a transaction also. This implies that the debit card holder can spend only if the account permits also. അക്കൗണ്ടിൽ എത്ര മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ദ ബാലൻസ് ചെയ്യണം പറയുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെയാണ് that it will account. So that is a debit card. And also bank drafts also should be provided. Bank issue, this is utility, some services need to be taken care, isn't it? അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ക്രെഡിറ്റ് കാർഡ്, കൺസൾട്ടൻസി, ടാക്സ് കൺസൾട്ടൻസി, then ഡെബിറ്റ് കാർഡ്, അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ഓരോ സർവീസസ് ബാങ്ക് ഈസ് ടു ബി പ്രൊവൈഡഡ്. Bank issues bank draft to the customers and general public also. For remitting the money from one place to another, bank issues bank drafts or demand drafts on their branches at the place of the destination. According to Section 85A of the Negotiable Instrument Act, a bank draft is an order from one branch to another branch of the same bank to pay a specified sum of money to the person named therein or in his order. ഒരു വ്യക്തി അല്ലെ അയാൾ പറയുന്ന അയാളുടെ ഓർഡറിനനുസരിച്ചുള്ള ആള് അവർക്ക് ഒരു ബാങ്കിന്റെ ബ്രാഞ്ചിൽ നിന്ന് മറ്റൊരു ബാങ്കിന്റെ ബ്രാഞ്ചിലോട്ട് സെയിം ബാങ്ക് ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ചെയ്യുന്നതിനാണ് that is the bank draft എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. A draft is always payable on demand. ആവശ്യകത വരുമ്പോൾ that is to be payable on demand. So these are the utility services. So once again we will check what are the utility. That is general utility services like safe custody of valuables, letter of credit, traveler's check, remittance of funds, merchant banking, dealings in forex banks, lease financing, factoring, underwriting of the securities, the shares and debentures or bonds, tax consultancy, act as a tax consultancy, gift checks to be provided, teller system, credit cards, consultancy services, debit card, bank draft, like that. These are the general utility services. So primary functions are there, secondary functions are there like agency services and general utility services. So the next part will be, so we see what are the different types of banks, what are the functions to be performed by banks, these commercial banks. So the main functions are, it is the primary function like accepting the deposit, lending the money, and also creation of a credit, how the credit is to be created. Then that is the primary function. Like the same, there is secondary function, agency services and general utility services that we see in the previous class and the today's also. Next topic with regard to the portion is how the credit is created. The commercial bank need to create the credit. So how it is to be. Commercial banks deal in money also. That is, they borrow the money from those who have surplus. Those who having enough money, they are asking that, means through in the form of deposit, and lend it to those who requires it. To those to whom it requires it, that they are giving and if they require it, if the bank requires it, they are asking. So that means there is accepting the deposits and lending the money. As they deal in money, they are called dealers in money or suppliers of money. In addition to borrowing and lending, commercial banks may manufacture or create the money. So they are called manufacturers of money also. So commercial banks are the manufacturer as well as the suppliers of money. So how they are the supplier or the dealer? They are dealing the money. And also in case of borrowing and lending, the commercial banks may manufacture the or create the money also. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് they are called the manufacturers of money. Then deposits that is to be received by the banks can be classified into primary deposit or active deposit. So two things are there. Primary deposit is there and active or derivative deposit is there. So what is a primary deposit? When a bank receives a cash from a depositor, it opens an account in the name of the depositor and credits the amount received to the depositor's account. So it is credited. That amount is deposited so that this depositor's account is credited. Such bank deposits are called primary deposit or passive deposit or cash deposit. So understand what is a cash deposit or a passive or a primary deposit means once it is the money is deposited, the depositor's account is credited and that amount is accepted. That is the primary deposit or passive or cash deposit. This deposit forms the basis for the loan transactions of a bank. So that is called the primary deposit as it is to be received from the customer or the depositor and his account or her account is credited with that particular amount. So that is the primary deposit. While the other is derivative deposit. Using the cash received from the depositor, the banks grant advances to the businessman or buy some assets such as bills or bonds, etc. from the market. That is called derivative. Means extra something is to be given by the bank to the customer or the businessman. So that is the derivative. So using the cash received from the deposit in the cash and the bank may grant advances to the businessman or buy some assets such as bills or bonds, etc. from the market. Whenever a bank grants a loan or buys an asset, it does not usually pay cash for it. അതിന് cash pay ചെയ്യാറില്ല. Instead of paying the cash, the bank actually places the amount of loan in the account of the borrower. Thus, the borrower accrues a claim against a bank just as he had deposited a sum of money. So, how it is to be? Instead of paying the cash, the bank actually places the amount of loan in the account of the borrower. കടം ആരാണോ ചോദിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് അവരുടെ അക്കൗണ്ടിലോട്ട് that is to be transferred. Okay, places the amount of loan in the account of the borrower. Thus, the borrower accrues a claim against the bank just as he has deposited a sum of money. So, these just a minute. So these deposits are derived from the primary deposit and hence they are known as derivative deposit. Means the primary deposit, from the primary deposit it is getting, that money is getting, isn't it? From the depositor, he is depositing and his account is credited. His finish the chapter for that one. And from that, they are granting something that is loan to some borrowers. നമ്മൾ ഡെപ്പോസിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന എമൗണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ അക്കൗണ്ടിലോട്ട് വരവ് വെച്ചതിന് ശേഷം ആ പണം എടുത്ത് ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ടു ബി ഗ്രാൻഡഡ് ടു സംബഡി എൽസ്. അതാണ് ഡെറിവേറ്റീവ് ഡെപ്പോസിറ്റ്സ് ഓർ സെക്കൻഡറി ഡെപ്പോസിറ്റ് ഓർ ആക്റ്റീവ് ഡെപ്പോസിറ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So these deposits are derived from the primary and hence they are known as derivative or secondary or active deposit. If the banker has more primary deposit, he can lend more and create more deposit. The unit value for creating the derivative deposit comes from the banking system also. So we see how the deposit is to be created or how a credit is created. Credit is created either from the primary deposit or from the derivative deposit or secondary deposit. What is a primary deposit? As this is to be, if the depositor is depositing the money, his account is credited and that is called the primary deposit. That is ആദ്യമായിട്ട് കിട്ടുന്ന തുക. അതെടുത്ത് ഡെപ്പോസിറ്റ് ചെയ്തതിന് ശേഷം അയാളുടെ അക്കൗണ്ട് വരവ് വെച്ചതിന് ശേഷം That is to be utilized for lending purpose to those who require it or the borrower. That is called the secondary or derivative deposit. By experiencing, the banks know that all the depositors do not withdraw their money simultaneously. Some withdraw while some others deposited in the same day. So, by keeping a small cash reserve for the day to day transaction, the bank is able to grant loans on the basis of excess reserves. The amount lent may come back again to the same bank or some other bank as deposit. The bank whose deposit have increased will lend more to the public. കൂടുതൽ കൂടുതൽ ഡെപ്പോസിറ്റ് വരുന്നതിനനുസരിച്ച് that is to be lending, that is to be used for lending purposes. This process will continue till the total deposit have increased by the number of times the original deposits of the cash. So that is the procedure in a bank, how this is to be, the credit is to be created. So it is in two ways, primary deposit and secondary or derivative deposit. Okay, so we see today what all portions, that the general utility services balance portion like factoring, then acting as an what is that, consultant, tax consultant, isn't it? Then credit card to be issued, debit card to be issued, consultancy services to be maintained, bank draft, then underwriting of the securities, that is the shares or debentures, gift checks to be given, teller's check, teller system, like that. Then what else is there? See, and how a credit is to be created by the commercial bank through the manufacturer and also the suppliers of money, acting as a manufacturer and as dealers of money, so that depositing from the public or accepting deposits from the public and lending it to those who require it. That is the main function with regard to a commercial bank. So please have a look at today's classes. Please clear off your doubts as and when it is occur. I will share with the share through the group the what is that, the today's topics, and also please clear your doubts as and when occurred, and please watch the video always. And also I'm going to wind up the session. Thank you.